advertising.
They use F1
Big
to sell other
advertising,
stuff, whether that's
a big part of it. Now, I remember when I was younger watching NASCAR drivers with my dad, because like that really interested me. And all you will see was advertisements, and that's how, you know, as I grew up, I knew what a lot of things were because I saw them always being advertised on TV.
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchets React, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another motorsports reaction. Super excited about this video, guys. If you're new to us and we're new to you, make sure you scroll down, hit that subscribe button, and turn on the post notification bell because we're on the road to 10K. And we cannot get there without you guys, all right? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
What will happen over the course of the next 66 laps?
66 laps.
Is champion of the world!
You've been hearing about F1 too, right? Cool, let's talk about it.
Formula One racing into Miami for the first time.
The hottest ticket in town.
Hooked on Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive. Drive to Survive.
This is a car race at over 200 miles an hour in cities all over the world.
Miami Grand Prix, Bahrain Grand Prix, here in Monaco.
With insanely famous drivers.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world
And 100-person teams. Racing cars so advanced that they're practically spaceships. And so expensive that they had to make a rule that teams couldn't spend more than $140 million each. And it's only getting bigger. Just look at this. This is from a construction camera at one of two new US racetracks. This one's in Miami. This cost $40 million to build, and it hosted nearly 250,000 people over 3 days. That's a Super Bowl worth of people every day. And one of them was me.
It's the first ever Miami Grand Prix. We're racing in the States and it's lights out and away we go.
I just love F1. But a lot of people, because of all this hype, they're hearing about it right now for the first time. And they're feeling a little bit,
I don't understand.
So let's get into it. This is F1 explained for rookies. What you need to know to keep up with this crazy, expensive sport that everyone's suddenly obsessed with.
So we're one of those people we're not obsessed, like crazy obsessed, but we love watching F1. Like, we started reacting to F1 like last summer to the point where when we were not working on YouTube, we were watching it on TV.
Yeah, even when I went to my father-in-law's house, it was on the TV set.
Yes, we love some F1. Have yet to go to in-person race, but we coming.
And then y'all hear her, right? She is mentioning a lot that how expensive it is.
Right.
It's really expensive. It's no joke. Like, it's a lot of money that's being dished out. A lot.
We've caught on to a lot of the things without really knowing the rules and, you know, explained. But let's get into it.
Verstappen holds it.
It's done.
But it's also a look at the bigger question here, the huge question, which is, why do this? Like, why pour so much money, so much technological effort into F1, into entertainment? The answer is in what we get in return. This isn't just a car race. This is a space program for the road.
General growth in interest.
F1's becoming much more of a thing here in the States.
Monaco Grand Prix, win the Italian Grand Prix, Bahrain Grand Prix.
And it's so crazy because they going 200 miles per hour, but the curves looks like they're not, but they're so low to the ground. It's like they just slither through, like it's crazy.
Safety measures on this car.
The history behind it too.
Yeah.
You got to think about the halo. You got to think about all that. So that's, man, it's a lot. Look at that.
If you're new to F1, you might know its American cousins. NASCAR has the least family resemblance. Closed cockpits, oval tracks. IndyCar and F1 look more related. They've got the spaghetti-looking track, open cockpits. But there's one really important difference between these two. And it's the reason why F1 specifically is such a big deal. In IndyCar, all of the cars use the same frame, or chassis, the DW12. So the competition here is mostly in how you race that car. But in F1, every team has to design and manufacture their own cars. And the best part is that they get to improve the cars between each race, or not, depending on how they do. So the competition in F1 actually centers around the car itself, not just how you race it, but also how you build it and rebuild it again and again and again. This is why I love F1. It looks like the sport of daredevils, but much more than that. It's the sport of nerds. But before we get to that, I want to show you something. One of the questions that I get asked most about my videos is, where did you get all of that footage? And the answer is Storyblocks.
She said Starbucks.
Seriously, I use them all the time, and that's why I was super excited when they became Huge of True's first ever sponsor. I love Storyblocks. So here's how this works. Let's say, hypothetically, there's a section coming up in this video about how F1 is pushing forward cool technology in your car. So I go onto the Storyblocks site and I type in what I want to show. Like, for example, car start button, and ta-da! I can download as many clips as I want, and they have a bunch of different pricing options depending on how much you want to spend. My favorite is the unlimited all-access plan because they have over 1 million assets in their library.
Of course.
And I like to try out a lot of options. So go check them out. There's a link in my description. And
ain't it crazy how with these sponsors, if you purchase correctly, you basically buy it in bulk. Just like you would do in a grocery or when you go shopping for clothes or something.
Yeah.
You'll buy for the season and not just for the day.
Right.
I mean,
you can find the footage that I just downloaded later in this video.
All the same formula.
Okay, each team races 2 cars, so 2 drivers for the same team. Each event, or Grand Prix, is 3 days: practice, qualifying, and race day. I watch these on TV every time they're on, but this was the first time I ever got to see it in person.
I got to see the car up close. That was awesome. Now I am inside the Mercedes garage.
Truly, I have never had more fun at a sporting event and seen less of what was actually going on.
So right now they're about to do a practice.
Here's how this works. The order of who does the fastest lap on qualifying day becomes the lineup at the starting line on race day. And passing isn't easy, so where you start is a really big deal. Depending on where drivers finish, they get different numbers of points. After 10th place, no points for you. Drivers want to get the most points themselves to win something called the Drivers' Championship. But teams want to get the most points total to win the Constructors' Championship. The 2 championship thing actually kind of makes for funny mismatched incentives sometimes. You can hear it on the radio when teams have one strategy, like they want to let drivers pass each other, and drivers get really mad about that.
If he's quicker, we let 3. That's very unfair, but okay.
But generally, everybody agrees about the big things, which are drivers, race your fastest. Teams, make the best car. All right, here's the fun part.
Lego is here. Hey, kids, look.
There's my driver. Hello, Lewis Hamilton.
We're gonna have to get it for the kids.
Think of an F1 car like an airplane upside down.
Yes.
Both meant to move as quickly through the air as possible, right? But where an airplane's wings work to lift it up, these cars' wings work to keep it down. Why? Because winning doesn't just depend on going fast. It also depends on keeping control. And that requires a firm grip on the ground.
Yeah, because those tires.
Take a look at the shape of this car. Now watch how the air moves.
The only thing that really breaks apart on these cars is the tires. Tires first. Once it anything that taps the tires, like, I don't understand. It's like mad sensitive.
Right. I know we reacted to a video about, the construction behind the cars, but I don't remember about the tires because the tires have to be something. It's a reason why the tire is like that. I just forgot what it was because that seems like the number one thing I would fix. But of course, I don't know. I'm not a technical.
You don't want them too. You don't want them too tight.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when Mario's skateboarding. Underneath, if you tighten them wheels, he can't bend the corner too. You know what I'm saying? So he just told me to tighten that the other day too.
See how some goes above the wing and some squeezes the long way underneath it? That creates a situation where there's higher pressure above and lower pressure below, sucking the car toward the ground. That's actually happening all over the car, not just on the wings. And we could talk for hours about the design features on this thing, how they shape and use the air. Some pull air in through the car to cool it down. You can actually see there's a hole there. I think they're trying to imply that on my Lego
halo
model.
being open.
Some actually let the driver release air, lessening that downward pressure and allowing them to go faster in order to pass. Kind of like a Mario boost. You can actually hear this in a race. Listen for DRS here.
Now, Charles Leclerc is going to have DRS to try and fight it back.
Taken together, an F1 car is just a symphony of aerodynamics. I actually got to see them up close and personal when I was in Miami.
We're going there.
I absolutely did not keep my cool.
Can you go to school for this?
I guess, yeah, you got
Like, but is there like a curriculum like when you go to college and you be like engineering? Okay, somewhere it would be engineering for a person, and then they would push their way through the bracket of anything that has to do with engineering.
Yeah, but I'm sure it has to deal with different things as well, like different scientific, careers, because a regular engineer, yeah, they're technical and all that, but when she talks about the physics behind it, about the airflow, and then you got to think about the safety features.
Right. So you really have to get the correct courses. Like you really got to get the courses to the T. I
wonder if like a regular mechanic, cause of the pit, like it's so many different areas. Like she said, it's a 100-member team. Yeah. So you got to think about the pit crew too. So I was gonna say, like a regular mechanic, if they wanted to get into this, that would be a good start. And I'm thinking because you had a mechanic job at one point.
Yeah, and they was really like the team that I was with was dope. Like they really was trying to get me to. Yeah. But I ended up flopping that one, y'all. I was so mad.
That's okay.
It was on me though.
That's
it was on me.
Because look at you now, baby. Look at you.
I mean, I picked up the trade, so it was dope. I still understand it. Yeah, I still understand it.
I feel like everybody plays a part in it.
Yeah. But for the school side though, it's like you really have to like
the
understand it
background.
You got to have your classes to a T. You can't just be doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why I kind of.
I would love to look into that, like see, their requirements to hold these positions, especially with
you don't hear that often.
Manufacturing these cars.
I don't know nobody who's like, I went to school to be an F1 driver. Mechanic for the pit stop or something. However they would call it, Interesting, something to look into.
Yeah. You can see teams perfecting these cars over the years, understanding the need for wings and adding them and changing the shape and pushing our understanding of aerodynamics to shave off just fractions of a second.
Wow.
Hundreds, sometimes thousands of people work on this, all for one team. So, how much does this cost?
A lot of money.
Too much?
More than a house.
More than some
F1
land?
teams don't really want to share the details here, so there's a lot of speculation. But there are also companies, and some of them have to file their financials somewhere. So with a little bit of research into various European countries' reporting requirements, hold on. Dun, 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 dun. Here they are. Annual reports for every F1 team I could find. Which is actually 8 out of 10, so I'm feeling pretty good about it.
It's pretty good.
As a fan, this is kind of cool. Like, look, this is Toto Wolff's signature. What I learned from all this is that running an F1 team costs anywhere from $95 million to $425 million.
Ooh, that's a lot of money.
But the year after these were filed, F1 instituted a new rule saying all teams were only allowed to spend $140 million. So these reports are going to look a lot different for this next coming year.
Oh, good.
Still a lot. No matter what, F1 teams spend a ton of money.
So they making a lot of money.
So if they're making a lot of money, the people that's designing it is making a lot of money.
Yeah. And there's some people in the design team that may not even touch the car.
No, they won't.
They're just, designing
they're blueprinting it. Yeah, and that's what I went to school for that. So that's another thing. Yeah, you go to school for that like in that way too.
Yeah, so it's different areas,
Yeah, technology, bro.
A whole new world.
They getting buku money, like.
Yeah, that's why, like in school, like, of course, I don't know where they are now, like in career days or whatever, because it's been just so freaking long since we've been out of school. But like, I wish that they would highlight, off the beaten path career jobs, like not the regular doctor, lawyer, school teacher. I wish they would show these are cool jobs where people can make more than the regular go to school to be this jobs,
Send a golfer up there to the school.
Exactly.
Somebody that play golf, they got a lot of cool young kids I have talked to that love golf. Like,
right. And think about the kids who love race cars and stuff like that, and they only think that I can only be a race car driver.
Yeah.
Send one of the engineers who make the cars.
Yeah, someone that's way behind the scenes that you don't see on a regular. Like,
Right.
face is just not recognizable. It's like, oh, he's just a guy. No, he knows his computer stuff. Facts.
What do they make? These reports show that F1 teams make approximately nothing. They run surprisingly close to break even. Red Bull, for example, made $230 million in revenue, and then add these two up, $229 million in costs. And they ended up with approximately $1.2 million in profit. This is in pounds, actually, so that's $1.5 million. These aren't the wildly profitable enterprises I was imagining. So why did they do it? Well, take a look at this. This is the Ferrari annual report. Our brand image depends in part on the success of our Formula One racing team. The racing team is a key component of our marketing strategy.
Yep.
It's advertising.
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 They use F1 to sell other stuff, whether
That's a big part of it. Now, I remember when I was younger watching NASCAR drivers with my dad, because like that really interested me. And all you will see was advertisements. And that's how, you know, as I grew up, I knew what a lot of things were because I saw them always being advertised on TV. Like the cars, wrapped all in the cars, in the towels that they give them after they get out the car. Everything is an advertisement. So it's not for nothing.
Right.
It's a part of marketing.
That's why we had the NASCAR jackets coming up.
I still have mine.
We'll put it on. It was just straight advertisement.
Yeah.
So it was a swag for us as a young age without even realizing that it was an advertisement, a promotion. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm pretty sure that the drivers are well paid.
Oh, what?
$1 million, just $1 million. You know what I have to do with just $1 million?
Talk about it, yeah.
Luxury sports cars or a sports drink.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Literally.
I mean, as entertainment, F1 is incredible. But a lot of people do feel that it's somewhat wasteful.
How much does a Formula One car cost? $400 million.
Is it worth all that money?
This is bigger than F1. It's kind of crazy to think about how much work we as a species put into entertaining ourselves.
Yeah.
But I think what makes F1 feel particularly acute for some people is the technology element here. All of this engineering work and all of this energy being spent on 20 fossil fuel reliant cars makes people wonder sometimes if that energy might be better spent elsewhere.
Like literally anywhere else.
But F1 is more than just entertainment. It's better thought of actually as one giant experiment. F1 pushes everything to the extreme. What do you need to create to compete at this level, to keep control at these speeds, to keep the driver safe in these conditions? The idea is that the technology that they build ends up trickling down to all of us non-race car drivers.
Yep.
My question was, is this actually true or does it just sound good?
I believe so.
I wanted to find specific car parts that were developed for F1 and then ended up in my car. But the more research I did, the more complicated it got. People often talk about paddle shifters, for example, but those were actually developed decades before F1. F1 teams just made them better. Same for active suspension, anti-lock brakes, traction control. What I found was that F1 was less trickle-down and more flywheel. F1 combines technologies that might already exist and then pushes them to an extreme, making them better in the process and then inspiring, or literally manufacturing, better tech for all of us. For example, take thermal efficiency, the percentage of energy from combustion that actually makes the car go, as opposed to being lost to heat. Most combustion road cars have a thermal efficiency between 20 and 30%, which means only a third of the energy actually makes the car go. F1 cars can't refuel during the race, so there's a very strong incentive for them to be efficient. They're at about 50% now, thanks to new hybrid engines, gains that have been dragging the rest of the car industry forward. Or data collection. Sensors on F1 cars collect huge amounts of information and then feed it back to the driver and the team. They didn't invent a lot of these systems, but they use them in ways that they've never been used before. And that's actually getting more and more important as we move potentially towards self-driving cars. This is the real promise of F1. And it all stems from that original requirement to build their own cars. Basically, we'll do all of this research and development, and we'll create new technologies and also combine all of the cutting edge tech, and we'll push it to its limits and develop it further, and you don't even need to pay for it. We'll race these things against other groups of engineers doing exactly the same thing in this crazy round-the-world sport that lots of people really love, that is actually, at the end of the day, the biggest, most expensive group project science competition of all time. People debate whether or not we should spend money on lots of our efforts to learn. And yet, they consistently push forward both the tech that we actually use and our understanding of the world around us. In this case, it also makes some money, and it's fun to watch. I think once you see the promise of F1, it allows you to think differently about lots of things. We need people working far beyond the edge, like pulling forward the limits of what we can do. The question now is, what do we need to learn next? If F1 pushes forward car innovation and the future of cars is electric, does F1 need to get more electric too?
Know about that.
And if F1 doesn't go more electric, does it get farther and farther from its original promise over time? Less applicable to the technology that we use and more a novelty? Oh, let's go watch those cars that use gas. I don't know. Now you're up to speed. You can watch a race, you can enjoy it with your friends, and you can also speculate, like the rest of us, where it's all gonna go. I'll be watching with you, and I'll be rooting for my favorite team.
Mercedes.
That's a good one, though. Where is the future headed to when it comes to F1? Yeah. Because we are going to times where technology is taking over self-driving cars.
Yeah, electric.
Hey Siri, drive me to the bank.
Yeah, okay. So the United States, I read that the United States is pushing for us to have electric cars by 2050, like everyone having electric cars. That's a long time, and them cars expensive. So
right.
Well, no, they're not all expensive anymore, because I know BMW has some electric cars. Ford, the trucks have electric cars. So
what if F1 comes into like little mini airplanes on the road? And they just hover and they fly like that.
Right, because remember when we were younger, we thought that we would have, we will all be flying cars by 2000. Yeah, the Jacksons. Yeah, so I don't know. That's interesting to think about.
It is.
That is.
God,
but
it is.
Until then, we just going to enjoy watching the pit crew, because what's going to happen to the pit crew with the gas?
Same thing. I mean, gas? Well, see, it's questions. It's questions.
Because how will they charge it so fast?
Might have something more advanced around that time.
Yeah.
I don't know. They may get some, they got in Wakanda? Vibranium or something. Might put some vibranium in there.
So, this was interesting. I love how she broke it down. This was very informative and educative.
Yep.
So, we hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We'll see you soon.
Peace.